Hello, friends. As I know you are all aware, we continue to experience many changes in our life together. During this pandemic, it's been quite a ride these past 4 months. Your leadership board, the virus response team, and your church staff continues to meet regularly as we discuss the most recent COVID-19 information. And I'd like to take just a moment to briefly update you on Stony Brook's reopening plans as they have changed with the change in the virus in our communities. So we continue to adhere to the guidance of the CDC as well as the Ohio Department of Health. We always have, and we will continue to do so. As of the recording of this video on July 15th, 2020, Franklin County is currently in a level 3 or a red phase. And following the order from the Ohio Department of Health, face masks are now required in all public spaces. So that means for you and for me, when we are on Stony Brook property, either inside the building or outside, we will be wearing face masks or something to cover our face with. Additionally, here are some updates to our reopening plan as well. The reopening of the 9:30 a.m. and the 11 a.m. in-person worship services and Sunday schools will remain paused until the Franklin County designation drops down to a level 2 or the orange phase. Right now, as of the recording of this, we have had 2 in-person 8 a.m. worship services outside in the chapel. Those will continue, except in the case of inclement weather. If that were to be the case, then the 8 a.m. in-person worship service would be canceled, as inside the building will not be available. Remember to register for worship. That way we have a count of who all is here. Show up in your mask, and when you arrive, be prepared to be greeted by our greeters and seated by our ushers, who will be seating you 6 feet apart from the family before you. Our hospitality team is well trained to keep you safe in this season. The Stony Brook Church building will remain closed to all groups during the time that Franklin County is designated as a level 3 red or level 4 purple. If Franklin County were to move to a level 4 purple, all Stony Brook outside activities, including the 8 a.m. in-person worship service, will be suspended. Just as a reminder, congregational singing, large group singing, and the full choirs will not be permitted during worship because of the COVID-19 threats. The use of church grounds, and that would be outside of the church building, will be permitted for Stony Brook groups, provided that church-adopted safety guidelines from the CDC and the Ohio Department of Health are followed. That will include wearing face masks or something to cover your face, as well as being 6 feet apart from one another. Children 10 and under must be accompanied by a parent, and all groups who plan to meet outside on church grounds will need to contact Kim Fathauer in the church office to schedule a location. So again, the wearing of face coverings is required anytime you are on Stony Brook property, whether inside the building or outside the building. Just to note, online worship will continue as it has throughout this entire pandemic. Throughout the month of July, we will continue to offer the pre-recorded worship services, the 8 a.m. traditional service premiering at 8 a.m., and the contemporary service premiering at 11 a.m. Beginning in August, we are excited as we've been working towards plans to produce a live streamed worship service that will begin on August 2nd, with the traditional worship service being live streamed at 9:30 and the contemporary service being live streamed at 11. As we have stated before, this plan continues to be living and dynamic based on what the virus is doing in our community. We will continue to respond with your safety always at the forefront of our minds for all of those who are making these decisions. We look forward to the ways that we continue to be creative in the ways that we are in community with one another. We are confident throughout this season that God is with us because the entire biblical narrative is a story of God being with the very creatures that God has created. We trust that the same holds true for us. And while we don't know what our journey is going to look like exactly, we do trust that God is in the midst of it, guiding us, loving us, and leading us throughout. Thank you, friends.